What's the thing?
Oh. Hello and good morning, and welcome to Coffee with KBLIC. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today we have Nadine Boone with us from the Massachusetts District Office of the Small Business Administration. Um, so let me pull up our guest slide just so you can see. So this is Nadine Boone. She's the lead business opportunity specialist. And today we're going to have a conversation about resources the SBA can offer your local small business. So thank you, Nadine, for coming and chatting with me this morning. Nadine, why don't you kick us off a little bit with a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the SBA?
Thank you, Amber. Good morning to you all. I'm Nadine Boone with the Massachusetts Small Business Administration. I am the lead business opportunity specialist, and what that does is makes me the program manager where I oversee our federal government contracting program as well as our marketing and outreach program. I have been with SBA for 23 years, so I might be in like job number 7 with the Small Business Administration. Came here from metropolitan DC, Northern Virginia. Don't you love my Boston accent? About 6 years ago in June. And so it has certainly been quite a ride to work with small business owners for the last 23 years or so in my life at various levels. And remember, again, the Small Business Administration is a federal agency. We were created, I believe it was back in about 1953.
Mm-hmm.
And the Small Business Administration is federal, which means these are your taxpayer dollars at work, that just about everything that we talk to you about is going to be free, that the Small Business Administration is to help the small business owner to start their business, to grow their business, and to expand their business and to recover when we have disasters, be they physical or economic disasters. And with COVID-19, we are in a economic disaster.
I would say so. I actually just pulled up the Small Business Administration page just so folks can see. It's front and center on your page, a bunch of relief options and other guidance and whatnot. So the elephant in the room, I guess we will sort of address right now is a lot of small business owners are struggling just to operate or even just continue business. So can we talk a little bit about some of the resources that the SBA has in place, such as the Paycheck Protection Program and the Emergency Injury Disaster Loans?
We surely can talk about those. And that is part of the CARES Act, which was just reauthorized in December of 2020. And here in January, just within the last 2 weeks, the
Mm-hmm.
Paycheck Protection Loan Program has been opened again for small business owners. I heard Bob Nelson, our district director, this morning on another call say that in the last round of PPP, that's what we call the Paycheck Protection Program,
Mm-hmm.
that over 118 small businesses were assisted here in Massachusetts through
Oh, wow.
the last round. This opened up to our banks on the 11th of January, Paycheck Protection Loan Program, and
Mm-hmm.
it opened up to our borrowers on the 19th of January. And
Yeah.
already 6,000 small businesses has applied for the Paycheck Protection Loan Program. And already $5 million have been authorized. And so it is now open for everyone. So at the beginning of the Paycheck Protection Loan Program,
Mm-hmm.
It was open with our community financial development to help our most vulnerable brown and black small business,
Mm-hmm.
women-owned small businesses, and that group. So it is now open to everyone and anyone with all of the lenders, not just our community financial institutions or our community development financial institutions. There is a first draw and a second draw. If you
Okay.
had the paycheck protection program loan the previous round, then you would be a second draw borrower. But those who have never had a PPP loan would
Oh.
be the first draw borrower. So it's very, very important. And that's just one of the programs. And so we do know that the Paycheck Protection Loan Program is supposed to be a grant at forgiveness. It
Mm-hmm.
is used according to the rules. The rules are spelled out on Treasury's website as well as the SBA website. They're
Mm-hmm.
called interim final rules. We call them IFRs. So
Okay.
they are there for the small business owner to make sure that they're using them so that this becomes a forgivable product and not a loan on their books. And then
Oh, nice.
yeah, thank you. And so there's the economic injury disaster loan also, which
Mm-hmm.
is back now. That is something that you go directly to the SBA website. Paycheck protection is through the banks.
Mm-hmm.
Economic injury disaster loan, EIDL, is um, applied for by the small business owner directly through the Small Business Administration's website. And this information about coronavirus release is available in 15 or more languages. So that helps people who speak something, a language other than English, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
navigate this information, much of this information. But economic injury, if that disaster loan and economic injury disaster loan grants you is a 5-page streamlined website that you would utilize, that you would apply for directly through the Small Business Administration's website.
Ah, 5 pages, because like that's pretty short. Because like filling out paperwork is kind of like nightmare. So that's actually kind of cool. Yeah.
It is short and it is cool, but please remember again, we are government. So you got to make sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's,
Yeah.
that you are following the instructions so that you're not going to have rework. And then we have our SBA lending programs because not everybody
Mm-hmm.
is looking at the disaster. Some people are using this disaster for an opportunity to open a new business,
Oh yeah.
see a need in their community
Mm-hmm.
or in their city or state, and there are those who are opening their new businesses. So we have the 7A loan program as
Mm-hmm.
well as the 504 loan programs, and these are um, loan programs that the small business owner would apply through a bank, but the
Right.
SBA guarantees the loan. The guarantee is an enhancement for the small business, for the bank to say yes to the small business owners when all conditions
Mm.
are being met that's required by the bank and the government.
Right.
And then there is the SBA debt relief program for those that already have the 504 or 7A loan. Those programs are available for 6 months or more of
Okay.
loan payments are being paid by the SBA.
So let's see. Actually, I'm going to pull up the 7A loan stuff just so people can see what we're talking about. Now, that's the government contracting, correct?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
7A is lending. 7A,
7A is
what
lending.
I would like for you to pull up to
Yeah.
share with our borrowers is lender match. Let's
Oh,
talk
yep.
about lender match because what happens with lender match, it's like financial dating. So our small business owner can confidentially sit at their computer and
Yep.
answer 21 questions And once they hit submit, which will be kind of their business plan in a synopsis, in a short version, once those questions are answered and they submit it, banks will be in touch with them. And that's why I call it financial dating. It's like match.com, except it's called lender match. The bank does not mail or call the borrower. The borrower does not have to leave home or call the bank. So this electronic platform, Lender Match, is a perfect and confidential opportunity for the small business owner to
That's amazing.
test what they may be. You know, I have said that the dinosaur has come to the 21st century, that here we are, the bureaucratic government who are pushing you towards technology as we talk about streamlined applications and lender match on platforms on our website.
Ooh, actually, Nadine, we got a question from the audience. Someone's asking about the Paycheck Protection Program's availability to freelancers who don't have employees. Can a freelancer get a PPP loan, pay themselves, and have it forgiven?
What I'm going to suggest to that freelancer is to go into that IFR, into the latest interim final rule, and do Control F, because the interim final rule is going to be in a PDF format.
Oh,
and
okay.
do Control F, which is fine, and type in freelancer, because the Paycheck Protection Loan Program surely was open to the first round to those small business owners that had 500 or less employees. The second round is for those small businesses that have 300 or less employees. But Paycheck Protection was also available to gig workers, sole proprietors, and those categories. So I would recommend that small business owner who calls themselves a freelancer go in and take a look and see if they can find something. I don't know if that's going to be sole proprietor or gig worker.
Sure. So I'm just going to, oh, sole proprietor. That's how you would do that. Okay. Because I was trying to Google freelance. So what I did was I just popped that into the chat. So here's the actual, I just pulled it up. So this is the IFR Paycheck Protection Program as amended, effective January 6th. And the PDF is right here. So I have it pulled up, and it's sole proprietor, right? Is what you were saying? So
It may be something later than that, but just that's okay. January 6th may be good. Okay, yeah.
Oh, someone asked, are they available for nonprofits as well?
They are available for nonprofits. As a matter of fact, you had to be a 501(c) during the first round. Now the 501(c), I believe 3/6 is available. So yes, they are available for nonprofits. They certainly
that's amazing.
are. Yeah, 501(c)(6). Yes, exactly.
So I have it up here. It looks like it says, let's see, if you were in operation on February 15th, 2020, and either had in play, yeah. So it's and it says you would have to file the 1099 miscellaneous if you were eligible, self-employed, individual, independent contractor, sole proprietorship with no employees. Ooh, that is a lot of regulations.
There are a lot of regulations, and dates are so important. So thank you, Amber, for bringing up that February 20th, 2020, because the nonprofit, the small business, everybody would have had to have been in business on that date. Anything after that date, you are not going to qualify for the coronavirus relief programs.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, you needed to have been in business by February 20th, 2020.
Yeah. I think it said 15th, but yeah. So that's like you had to be so someone who's started like on like the 28th of February isn't getting that stuff. Okay.
Not under coronavirus, not under the coronavirus relief program.
Yeah. Let's see. So we got a hooray for the nonprofit person, and I hope we answered the freelancer question. I did put the policy document in there. just so if you wanted to search that as well. So everything, you mentioned this earlier in our conversation, all the rules and regulations are in there. Just take the time to look.
I want our small business owners to take some accountability and some responsibility, and we want to teach them to fish. And so thank you so much, Boston Public Library and Amber, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the small business owner about where to go to look for information and even how to research that information. Thank you, Amber, for doing that example so that the small business owner will understand that we are not asking them to look through 100 documents or 100 pages
Right.
to look for information. I want you to be able to use that Control F feature to look for information that is pertinent to only you, so that it can be efficient and you can perceive that your local SBA office is being of service to you. Now, here in this round of PPP, there is also that shuttered venue operation grant program. It's not open yet, but this is open. This is open to the entertainment industry, like live venue operators and promoters, the theater producers, live performing arts organization. There's $15 billion that was set aside, with $2 billion that is going to be for the smallest employers, which are going to be those who have less than 50, no more than 50 full-time employees.
Oh, wow.
And so there really are programs there, because we do know that the performing art has been heavily, heavily affected by this economic disaster.
Yes. So I actually just popped that in the chat. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, the link to that, so folks have access to that. There's another question. If a small business had to close their physical shop due to COVID restriction but is looking to reopen, can they apply? I think they were asking, because this Shuttered Venue Operations Grant is specifically for entertainment, or is there other venues that are included in this?
Well, most of the entertainment industry had to shut down because of the pandemic. So the answer to that is going to be yes. Once again, I want our small business owners to be bold, step up to the plate, and apply for everything that they perceive that they may be eligible for. It can only get a no, but you know what? You've got to be in it. So asking our small business owners to take a look at what is available on our website after hearing me speak. The Shuttered Venue program is not being dispersed yet. The rules are still being created.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I've heard the people in Washington, D.C. say that this PPP program was like building a plane and flying it at the same time. And now with this round, we are like flying the plane and refueling midair.
Man.
So everything is a moving target. Things are still being created as we speak. When you said something about the January 6th IFR, and I said to you, there may be a later IFR, so a more amended IFR. So I also said to look at Treasury's website and look at the SBA website to make sure, to make sure that you are looking at the latest IFR that may have been out there, so that you're following the guidelines.
Oh man, it's one of those things. It's a lot to look at, but you got to do it.
But we've given you a shortcut. We've given you a shortcut. Pull up that PDF document, do Control F, and find what is specific to your situation and your business.
Okay. Wow. That was a lot of information all thrown in there. So some great questions from the folks today. We got a couple of thank yous. And then we have a reaction sort of earlier when someone was saying, wow, about sort of the money that was being set aside for the original Paycheck Protection Program. So we got a few people chatting with us today. All right.
But that is great news. May I use this opportunity here to say not only are those dollars set aside for the small business owner with our most vulnerable small business owners in mind, but our resource partners, SCORE, the Women Business Center, the Veteran Business Center, our small business development centers, they are available and ready to assist virtual calls to help small business owners to navigate through these processes. There are teams this is all free. Again, this is free. It's going to take you a little bit of time, but it is free. And so I can't re-emphasize that enough. And 7J, I also want to remind you, is SBA lending, I'm sorry, not 7J, 7A.
Oh, oops.
SBA lending, not contracting.
Okay. 7J is contracting, right?
7J is contracting.
Oh, it's alphabet soup. So I just put the 7A loan program up, just so people can see the website. So let's see. This is for folks who want to apply for a loan to like start a business, right?
That is correct. But once again, the lender match falls under we have two loan programs, 7A and 504. And so for people who are starting a business or people who are trying to borrow money to expand their business or for working capital to keep that business afloat right now. But I want everyone to know, and I'm going to use this word again, you heard me say it, accountability and responsibility, because the banks, so SBA is a guarantor. We provide a guarantor and enhancement to the bank to get the bank to say yes to the small business owner. The small business owner must know that when they are looking to borrow money, whether it has the SBA enhancement or not, but especially for the SBA enhancement, but there's going to need to be a statement of personal history that is going to need to be completed, as well as a personal financial statement.
Right.
The bank is also going to be taking a look at that individual and looking at the 5 C's of credit, which are going to include character, which is talking about your credit history and your background and things of that nature. Are you paying your bills? Do you not pay anybody at all? Should you not even be in a conversation with the bank? Or even if you have perfect credit and collateral and things of that nature, you may not even qualify for the SBA guarantee. But there is the character piece, the capacity, does your debt to income ratio, how does that line up? Because the bank is going to need to see repayment ability. How much of your own money, how much of your own skin do you have to go in the game? How much have you saved that you can inject into the business? So that's going to be collateral. What are the assets of the business? Do you run a restaurant? Is it going to be the refrigerators or the ovens? Are you an accountant? Is it going to be desks, tables, chairs, and computers? What are the assets of the business, also known as collateral? And then the conditions. What is the purpose of the loan and the amount involved in the prevailing interest rates and the use of proceeds? So you're going to have a financial statement, a personal history statement that you're going to complete, statement of personal history that's going to also look to see if there's any criminal activity in your life, whether you will have had a felony or a misdemeanor, and felonies and maybe even some misdemeanors, I'm not 100% sure, may require fingerprints. Yeah, so again, we are speaking for taxpayer dollars, accountability and transparency.
Okay, so we're speaking about the criminal background. Does a criminal background automatically exclude someone from an SBA guaranteed loan?
No, no, it doesn't automatically exclude you. As I said, everyone who applies for a loan, and you can never go to a bank and say, I want an SBA loan. But the bank will make that decision if the SBA enhancement is what is needed. But
Okay.
depends upon how long the crime may have taken place and the severity of the crime. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that someone has a criminal background, as a matter of fact, I pulled up on Friday afternoon the statement of personal history, and it asks, are you presently under any indictment, criminal investigation, or arraignment?
Mm-hmm.
And then it asks, have you been arrested in the past 6 months?
Okay.
Yeah, it asks that question. And then for any criminal offense other than a motor uh, vehicle violation, have you ever been convicted, pleaded guilty, pleaded no contender, or been placed in a pretrial diversion? So these are federal government documents that you will sign under
Mm-hmm.
penalty of perjury,
Oh,
and
yeah.
potentially need to provide fingerprints and additional information as needed by
Mm-hmm.
banks. Okay.
Okay. So I actually just pulled up Lender Match on the screen so folks can see it.
Thank
And if you go to the SBA website and you click on funding programs, there's a drop down menu and you can go and look at the 7A loans, the 504 loans, Lender Match, some coronavirus relief options. But I actually wanted to ask you about the microloans here. Um, can you comment on some of those microloans?
Oh, yes, certainly, certainly. So the microloan program is for the unbanked and the underbanked, and that is
Oh.
a mission-based and all. Yes, so the Small Business Administration loan the funds to the micro lenders. So the micro lenders have to be authorized by the SBA, and
Mm-hmm.
then the funds are loaned to the micro lender, and the micro lender provides technical assistance as well as funding up to $50,000. Um,
Woo.
a few years ago, I haven't taken a look at that in a while. The median microloan was about $13,000, but you
Yep.
heard me say they also provide technical assistance. So that
Mhm.
is to help the small business owner to be able to succeed. You also heard me say it's for the unbanked and the underbanked. Again, there's going to be some accountability and responsibility. You're going to need to
Mhm.
bring, a reasonable credit history and background to the bank. Your business plan is going to need to make sense about what are you trying to do and what is going to be
Mhm.
the use of proceeds, because again, these are all federal dollars that require
Mhm.
accountability as well as transparency, and there is the likelihood of the micro lenders as well as the small business owners
Mhm.
reputation and character who would be on the line.
Okay. Oh, that's a great program. And I pulled it up on the screen and I dropped the link to it in the chat in case folks were interested in learning more about that.
And
So
I
we've
believe we have 9 microlenders, maybe 10 now, here in the Commonwealth of
Oh.
Massachusetts. But, I sit here in Boston, Massachusetts. I know we have Dorchester Bay down
Mhm.
there. I know that down in New Bedford area, we have a New Bedford Economic
Mhm.
Development Council. I know that there is Central something out in Worcester area. So there are several of our micro lenders that is available, and you can go to Google, make Google your best friend, type micro lenders in Massachusetts, and see who you can get to help you.
So I have a question because you're giving over a lot of information to these potential banks and whatnot. Um, how do we know they're SBA guaranteed? And well, we can help folks at the Boston Public Library figure out if a bank is like a legit bank. But like, how do we prevent fraud with some of these programs? You shouldn't be paying anyone to be like helping you fill out forms or anything, right?
Amber, that is so very correct. On the SBA Massachusetts page, sba.gov/MA, We do a loan volume report. We have a lot of information there. When you go, I think, down on that page and
Hmm.
go to other resources, you will see our lender list. You can,
Okay.
yeah, I believe it
Yes.
says show more resources. You will see our lender list. You will see our loan volume report there. And so this information is readily transparent. So anybody, so here's the lender list of 2020.
Yep. I just popped the SBA Massachusetts District office in the chat, and I'll pull it up so people can see what it looks like.
And thank you for bringing that word fraud, especially in this time and in this season. There are so many players out there that do not have good intent, who recognize that in these extraordinary times that many of our small business owners and just people in general are under so much stress. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are checking before you sign on the dotted line. I mean, I was looking at something on the website last week. I was looking for a form. I knew that form was obsolete. And somebody was going to charge me $6 for information that is old and stale if I had put my information in there and clicked on that link.
Oh,
So
geez.
it can happen to the best of us, depending upon what we're looking for and the reasons why we are looking for it. So I would ask everybody to be careful. I'm not sure what is on the SBA website right now, but I know on the Treasury's website during the
Mm-hmm.
first and second round of PPPs, they talked about fraud and scams. So
Okay.
be really, really careful because there are some players out there that are not in it for you to win. They are in it to defraud you and to take advantage of you.
That's a shame,
But it's
and
true.
it is true. Um, so we've been talking a lot about loans, and yeah. So like this is a common question that we get when we're at the reference desk, where people are always looking for grants for their small business. Now, we mentioned earlier that most of the funding and capital that you guys sort of guarantee is through loans through local banks and partner banks, but there are some grant programs available. So if you could speak to talk about the SBIR and the STTR program, because those are very specific, but and anything else you might want to add about grants or funding sources from the SBA.
So the SBIR, STTR is the Small Business Innovation and Research, and STTR is the Small Business Technology Transfer Program. And these two programs or this one program, there are 11 agencies in conjunction with the Small Business Administration, and these
Wow.
are technology focused. So
Mm-hmm.
traditionally, for you to get grant money through SBIR, STTR, and
Mm-hmm.
it's also known as SIBRs. You may hear somebody say SIBRs, and they are talking about the SBIR program.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to say in my presentations about SBIR is if you are creating something that is going to make a difference in mankind or humankind, then, some type of a prototype, because this is to encourage small businesses who are involved with research and development, R&D, to
Mm-hmm.
bring their ideas to the marketplace to see if it can be commercialized. So STTR is more about technology and SBIR is innovation and research. And there are 3 phases of grant money out there via these 11 federal agencies. So
Mm-hmm.
in this is our Massachusetts summary for that. In 2019, there were 268 small businesses that got almost $200 million.
Wow.
In 2018, there were 250 small businesses that got almost $355 million. And in 2017, there were 251 small businesses that got a little more than 331 million small businesses obligated amounts. So the awards for 2019 was 530, for 2018 was 598, and for 2017 was 654 award counts. So
Wow.
mhm.
Someone just had a comment that sounds like a really cool program. It is.
Just remember, this is all free. It's going to take you some time, but these are your taxpayer dollars at work. I can't say that enough.
Yeah. And everything's free, even at the library. Gotta plug us.
Thank you. Free, free, free. Please
Yeah.
let us just try to keep that in our mind if anybody is asking you to pay money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, let's see. So, but there are no other like grants that the
Well, there could be one more. There's the State Trade Expansion Program,
Oh, okay.
which is the STEP grant for exporting. If you have a
Oh.
product or service that you are exporting, but in the 23 years, it'll be 23 in May, that I have been working for government,
Mhm.
Congress has not authorized not one brown penny for the startup or the expansion of small businesses. Now, we're going to talk about contracting in a few minutes, but
Yeah.
in mind that some agencies are grant authorities. I'm just the Small Business Administration. I'm just one agency. So
Mhm.
some agencies are grant authorities and others are contracting, Department of
Mhm.
Education. So it depends upon what it is you're doing and what you're looking for. So I do not speak for all of the United States federal government.
Oh, okay. So if there's something in specific, I know that for like libraries and museums, we have the an opportunity for the Institute of Museums and Libraries, IMLS grants. So like that's one, and I bet like depending on what you're doing, probably the National Science Foundation or
Mhm,
whatever
mhm,
probably has
mhm.
grants too. So not only looking to the SBA for these funds, but to other agencies that
Like
make
I said,
sense.
education,
Yeah.
education, they have a lot of granting authority. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Cool. I was just gonna see. Woo, so actually, yeah. Why don't we chat about contracting a little bit? Just because, like, that is your forte, correct?
That
Yeah.
is my forte at this time and on this day.
Yeah.
Federal government contracting. Again, I'm speaking for the United States federal government and for SBA because there is also city level contracting and
Mhm.
there is state level contracting.
Right.
So I am speaking from the federal perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know the federal government, the United States federal government, buys somewhere between 400 to 500 billion dollars worth of products and services every year.
Woohoo! That is a lot.
That is a lot. The United States federal government is the world's largest procurer of goods and services. The federal government buys everything from paper clips to the mother of all bums
Yeah.
and
Woo.
everything in between there. So the federal government has pledged to do business with 23% of small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
23% of that 400 to 500 billion dollars
Wow, that's a
for
lot of money.
for all small business. It really is a lot of money. It's enough money to really go around. That means no matter what your ethnicity or what level of your business that you're at, whether you're starting today, depending upon the need of the government, depending
Mm-hmm.
upon what you're able to provide. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you are, if you call yourself a small business, you
Mm-hmm.
may be able to do business with the government. You have to register. Again, this is free. You have to register in SAM, System for Awards Management, to let government know that you want to do business with government and that you can provide products or services to government. So
Yeah.
as I said, there's 23% of a goal for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2019, where government had a goal of 23%, they actually achieved 26.5% of doing business with total small businesses.
That's awesome.
Under under total small business, there are also the socioeconomic.
Mhm.
Socioeconomic also means minority. I do not
Mhm.
prefer to use the word minority. I speak about socioeconomic. There are
Mhm.
that you need to be socially disadvantaged and economically disadvantaged for some of these programs. But
Mhm.
so we talk about socioeconomics.
Mhm.
And so there is the woman-owned small business,
Right.
which is a 5% target. And
Mhm.
it used to be a self-certification. It is now an SBA certification.
Nice.
There is the small disadvantaged business, also known as the 8A Business Development Program, that has a 5% target. There are so many people that want to be a 8A firm. I call 8A the 10-foot ladder. You have 9 years of your life to when you are certified to be in the 8A Business Development Program. And
Wow.
if you are not sure about how to sell your business and your value, the 8A program may not be what you want to go
Mhm.
into just yet, but you can still look at selling your products or services as one of a total small business and get to know some of these government contractors. And once you know them, if you are socially and economically disadvantaged and you can prove that on paper,
Mhm.
by all means apply for the 8A program and make lots of money for the 9 years when you're in the program, because when you come out of the program, we want you to continue to be able to stay in business. There's the service disabled veteran owned small business.
Mhm.
That is the SBA program, service disabled veteran owned small business, not just veteran owned small business.
Mhm.
Right now, that is still a self-certification. There was
Okay.
legislature that was approved where within the next 12 to 24 months, this is also going to be an SBA certification. The
Mhm.
certifications are going away. Nonetheless, certifications are free for registration, are free. And then there is the HUBZone, the historically underutilized business zone, which is traditionally a low income area and high unemployment. Would you believe Waltham was at one time a hub zone? And
Waltham.
Waltham was at one time a hub zone here in Massachusetts. Framingham, as well as Quincy, have a couple of small tracts of
Huh.
historically underutilized business zones.
Hmm.
And when I drive down 93, which I don't do much these days, because it used to be for business a lot. But
Of
when I could
course.
see all of those cranes and everything with all of the construction, it's like that one day that's not any longer going to be a hub zone. But the hub
Mm.
zone maps are frozen right now until December 31st, 2021. And then those maps are going to be redrawn every 5 years, where there will be hub zones, new hub zones that will be created, or places that are hub zones today. Like there is some space down in the
Mhm.
financial district of Boston
Okay.
on Franklin Street that is a designated hub zone.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
shocked when I learned that, but on December 31st, 2021, that is no longer going to be a hub zone.
Okay.
Yeah, so the maps are frozen for right now. And
Okay.
just because, Amber, if you and I were businesses across the street from each other,
Mhm.
you may be in a hub zone and I may not be. The way those lines are drawn, they are not symmetrical and things of that nature. So you would need to put your address in the hub zone map on the SBA
Okay.
website to determine if you are in a historically underutilized business zone.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
also, speaking of government contracting, you have to be able to show that you are small based on the NAICS codes, North America Industrial Classification Code.
Yep.
They do show that you are small based on your industry, either by employees, number of employees,
Mm.
or they give you dollar amounts for which you would be considered small.
Mm.
When you certify as a small business, you have to be majority owner, which means 51%. If you're
Mhm.
50-50, you are not a majority owner. So you have to be a majority owner when you certify for these programs. You have to control the day-to-day operations of those business. It
Mhm.
has to be a United States citizen, or if it's a foreign corporation, then they are paying into the tax system of
Okay.
the United States of America. Um, Amber and I both mentioned 7J. SBA not only certifies you, we do have some training programs to help the small business owner to not just be certified, but to succeed in business also. Many of these are online, web-based, even pre-pandemic. They were all
Mhm.
online and web-based. And so we have our PTACs, our procurement technical assistance counselors that can help you in contracting, just like I talked about SCORE, women business centers, and our small business development centers that provide mentors to help you in your small business every day of your life.
Mhm. Sure. I was just going to say, if you need help finding the NAICS code or comparing, we at the Boston Public Library can help you figure that out, what your comparison is. We have a couple of resources that you can use, and we also popped something in the chat for you. And then we have just a couple of comments. Someone was excited about, you mentioned Waltham, and they were like, Watch City. And then also, and also I've witnessed Framingham's transformation. It's amazing, just seeing the economic
Development.
development in an area. And someone's asking, how do I find my NAICS code? So when you start to be a business, don't you pick one?
Well, you have to know what your industry is, and this is what I'm talking
Yep.
about certifying for certain federal government programs. So you could always go to Google and ask if you know your industry, but there is a NAICS code table on the SBA website. When we go to the SBA website, whether it's
Mhm.
Massachusetts or just SBA, there are those tabs across the top. And under contracting, it
Mhm.
says basic requirements. I love to direct people to basic requirements for federal government contracting. Amber, are you seeing that?
Oh, yep. No, I pulled it up.
And so when you go to basic requirements, it talks about applying for, having your DUNS number, your tax ID number, applying in SAM for free. If you are in the wrong place, someone is going to ask you for money. SAM is free, System for Awards Management. But when you continue to come down, there is a tab there that start to talk about size standards and size tables. And there is a big red button somewhere in there where there's a PDF that you can open that's an Excel spreadsheet. So again, go to Google and find out what your industry is called before you go into the Excel spreadsheet, because it's, I think, 70, maybe 150 pages
Oh, yeah.
of different industries and 6-digit codes. So you'll have to know what it is that you're doing in your industry. Is it janitorial? Is it technology? Is
Yep.
it transportation? Or is it construction? Where
Of
are you?
course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I just put our email in the a research email, ask@bpl.org. So if people want, like, it can be a little overwhelming if you're doing a Google search. We can definitely sit down with you if you're trying to figure out what your NAICS code is. And we have resources where you could generate lists of NAICS codes of other businesses, and those are available for free with your library card or e-card.
So
So that's another.
Amber,
Yeah.
so finding out what NAICS code is. So first of all, the small business owner would know their own industry
That's true.
and
Yeah.
begin to ask for NAICS, NAICS, for transportation
Hmm.
or for janitorial. Now,
Hmm.
janitorial may have one or two, but
Mhm.
transportation will likely have 50 because are we talking
Yes.
planes, trains, boats, buses, cars?
Mhm.
And
Trucks.
so, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. All right. Wow. Actually, you have an event coming up. I'm gonna go back to the Massachusetts page. I'm gonna pull that back up. I'm gonna go back to the Massachusetts SBA page just so we can see. Oops, where are we?
Are you talking about
Um,
the event on the 28th?
yes.
Susan Laurie, our business opportunity specialist, is going to be presenting the 8A eligibility briefing. It
Mm-hmm.
is a monthly briefing, and I believe that's at about 9 o'clock on the 28th. And so, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Susan will be doing a presentation on that. We had 10 new 8A firms to come into the Massachusetts portfolio
Oh,
uh,
that's amazing.
in fiscal year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know how many we will have this year coming in. But I said to you all at the top of this call, I came here
Mm-hmm.
from Metropolitan DC. And
Mm-hmm.
when I first started with this agency um, in Metropolitan DC, I came
Mm-hmm.
into the 8A program.
Mm-hmm.
I was hired into the 8A program. They had 1,200 8A firms. Now, I came here in 2015 as the
Mm-hmm.
lead lender relations specialist. So I was in finance and
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about the 7A and the 504 loan programs and helping
Mm-hmm.
the banks to learn how to navigate. But
Mm-hmm.
we had 28 8A firms here in Massachusetts. That year we had 13 new firms to come into the program. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
that I walked on water and I thought by now we would have at least 100 firms. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we may have 40 firms now because again, you got 9 years in the
Mm-hmm.
program, and just about every year there's one or two coming out. And so,
Okay.
when you have 13 or so coming in, but every year one or two coming out. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be very hard. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Certification does not guarantee any contracts.
Right.
Need to really let people know that you got to work your butt
Mm-hmm.
off to let the federal contracting officers know that you're in business. The agency only certifies you. We guarantee you nothing, and that is the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have a lot of stamina, I think, to be a small business owner and to also be to do contracting and whatnot. We do have a comment here, and I'm just gonna pull up the calendar. I've placed this link a couple of times in the chat, but it's the SBA District Office of Massachusetts, and I've just pulled up some events that are coming up. It's just so folks can see. So there's even tax law essentials. So if there's some stuff that you're looking for, there's the 8A program webinar that we were chatting about, but there's also stuff about the Paycheck Protection Program, since we did have folks asking about that. And these are all free. You can register for them on the SBA website. We also have a comment. I've attended some SBA events before. I cannot recommend them enough. You learn so much. So
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So that's a comment from a viewer. So in terms of we've talked a little bit about contracting. I also just want to just touch on some of the learning resources that you guys have. So I'm up at the top here at the small business Massachusetts district. And if I click on Learning Center, there's a couple of resources here.
That
So,
is so true. So for the Learning Center, what I like to say is do not lay in bed at night awake worrying about anything. This was my pre-pandemic conversation that internet is open 24 hours a day. Now everybody knows that. And so there are these learning platforms, whether it is finance, whether it is contracting, whether it is starting the business, whether it is succession, that you have been in this business so long, you're ready to sell it and now go into a different direction. These programs, this learning platform are in conjunction with colleges and universities. This
nice.
information here, when Amber was talking about the calendar, know that we, the Small Business Administration, your Small Business Administration in Massachusetts, we partner. We have these public-private partnerships with organizations in the community that we do presentations for. You know, BECMA, the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. This morning it was the retail business associations, NFIB, and the Restaurant Association. 9 o'clock this morning, 300 people had registered for that webinar this morning that I was on before this one. So we are partnering, and I just want you to make your taxpayer dollars work for you at this time while we are all in this virtual platform doing an extraordinary season in life.
So I have the SBA Learning Center up, and so there's specifically one platform I just wanted to highlight, the Ascent for Women.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So that is new. That was just launched here in January, the Ascent, ASCENT, and that is a new digital, interactive digital platform that is for that missing middle, you know, growth-oriented women and entrepreneurs who are trying to look at how to get to the next step. You know, they're beyond the startup phase and they're already generating some revenue, and they are trying to figure out, how do I continue to grow my business? And that's what the Ascent program is all about. And so I believe it has what is called 12 journeys. So they've gotten really fancy. We used to use the word module, but they are now calling them journeys. So that's what that is, interactive gear for women, because women are still part of that left behind,
Right.
AKA that horrible word called minority when it comes to business, but it includes timely and valuable resources, and it's backed by research. Again, there are colleges and universities that have vetted this program. It's been, that platform has been open now for, I think they released it on the 11th of January. I believe
wow.
that is. So it is a very, very new platform. And so you hear me say it's for women, but anybody who wants to learn more about business, please think about looking at these platforms. You heard me talk about Women Business Center. Smart men go to the women business centers because women-owned small business are likely to hire men, and vice versa, and so forth and so on. So when I say that something is targeting women, I'm not saying men or anybody else. Please do not look at it.
Sure. I actually just pulled up the Center for Women in Enterprise on the we've hosted them several times, and they have some really phenomenal presentations, and and like the men who attend, really take a lot away from anyone who attends, really, who would take a lot away from the programs that are available for free. And this program sounds really neat. It'd be great to learn more about starting a business. And someone yelled, yes. So, yeah.
This is great. This is very good.
Yeah. So, let's see. We're coming at the top of the hour. So I just wanted to check in and see, A, if there's going to be any more questions, and B, if there's any resource that you would just like to highlight that maybe we didn't chat about today, that you just want to bring attention to, something maybe that people don't think of when they think of the SBA.
There's so many people that think about opening a business and they do not think about the SBA, also known as the United States Small Business Administration. There are those that call us the Small Business Association. To that I say, you just call my baby ugly.
Oh.
Please think about SBA and your taxpayer dollars at work. At this time for the PPP with the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, think about our resource partners. Do not make this harder than it needs to be for you, the small business owner, at an extraordinary time. Know that we are here to help. Please subscribe to the Massachusetts calendar, because Dan, Eli, Carlos, as well as myself, we are partnering with organizations, we are partnering with bank, we are partnering with some of our technical assistance providers to make sure that all small businesses, and especially our most vulnerable small businesses, get access to the information that is readily available for you during this pandemic and this unprecedented time.
So I'm just going to pull up the SBA page for Massachusetts District Office again. And so there is a newsletter that people can subscribe to.
That's right.
And I recommend it's at the bottom right here. Yeah, it's you can just sign up right here. It says get email updates. It's really simple. And you guys like announce like dates for programs and stuff in there as well, like if there's like a deadline coming up and things like that.
We do, and we even sometimes send out what is called a gov delivery. You know, when Ascent came out, or when paycheck protection was re-announced, or when economic injury disaster loan was extended into 12/31/2021. You know, we send this information out to our subscribers. We have 60,000 subscribers. Ooh. And then we put this information on our calendar. So when the small business owner go to our calendar, they can see what is going on and perhaps be a part of these events. So we want our small business owners to be a little bit more proactive and invest in themselves, because we are here for you, investing ourselves into you and your successes. And Boston Public Library, this is one of these public-private partnerships that I'm talking about. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to small business owners this morning. I truly appreciate this opportunity and highlighting your Massachusetts small business.
Oh, I thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I'm so excited, and we got to answer some people's questions. Thank you so much for, passing along your wisdom and knowledge. Honestly, the alphabet soup of navigating some of the resources, I have like kind of a clearer sense of what I should be looking for. It's, if I wanted to say get a loan or whatnot. You can see the sun's coming in again.
Oh, that's beautiful. It is beautiful. It's like a glow, like you just got a halo, Amber.
It is what it is. The perils of working from home, though. Sherry Murphy, I can't wait to rewatch this. I need to share this. Oh, that's nice. So we got a few thank yous. Well, thank you so much, Nadine. And information will be available in the chat. Folks can click on those links, and we'll drop them in the description later today. So I wanted to thank you again for taking the time and telling us about all the comprehensive resources, honestly, that the SBA has to offer for free for folks. So I really appreciate you coming and chatting with me this morning. I think we are, we're done, because it's almost 5 past. So I'm going to say my goodbyes and remind folks that we'll be coming back on February 8th. And we're going to have someone from Revix Labs talking about personal finance and banking. So we're excited about that. Keep an eye on our calendar, and everybody have a great morning.
Bye for now.